On May 19, 2026, 9:30 in the morning, a man stood alone on the summit of Mount Everest. He had no Sherpa, no oxygen, no support team. What he did have was a pair of skis. His name was Bartek Ziemski, a 31-year-old software engineer from Poland. No social media, no sponsors, lived in a van. And while most of the cameras on the mountain were pointed at the record-breaking line of climbers grinding up the fixed ropes, he quietly set the most insane Everest record of the year. Bartek was born in a small city in southern Poland near the Silesian Beskids. The terrain there was mountainous but modest. He learned to ski as a kid. Ziemski studied engineering in Warsaw, then spent time in Salzburg, where the Alps were a short drive away. He joined a youth climbing program run by the Polish Mountaineering Federation, and from there moved into a more advanced national program that trains young Polish climbers for the Himalayas. By trade, Ziemski is a software engineer. As of 2026, he's unemployed and lives in a van. He has no social media presence and no sponsors, no agent and no marketing team behind him. When he summits a mountain, there's no press release. When he sets a record, the climbing community usually finds out a day or two later through the Polish Federation or through his climbing partner. When Outside Magazine interviewed him at Everest Base Camp in May 2026, he summed it up in one sentence. He said, "I'm not a mountaineer at all. I just do it for fun." In 2022, Ziemski started something he called the Mad Ski Project. The goal was simple in concept and almost impossible in practice. He wanted to climb and ski every one of the world's 14 8,000-meter peaks with no supplemental oxygen, no Sherpas, and no support team. He would carry his own gear, his own food, his own tent. And when he reached the summit, instead of walking down the way everyone else did, he would clip into a pair of skis and ride the mountain back to base camp. His climbing partner on most of these expeditions is a Polish filmmaker named Oswald Pereira, who climbs alongside him, films the descents, and that's where most of the footage of Ziemski's runs actually comes from. This way of climbing isn't new. It's the style Polish climbers built their reputation on through the 1970s and 80s, in what's now remembered as the golden age of Polish Himalayan climbing. What Ziemski does is extremely rare. Skiing is a constant series of fast decisions: where to turn, how hard to edge, when to commit, when to bail. In the death zone, with a brain operating at a fraction of its normal capacity, every one of those decisions becomes harder, slower, and more dangerous. Add no oxygen on top of that, and the margin for error disappears almost entirely. A fall on skis at that altitude is almost always fatal. In September 2022, one of the most experienced ski mountaineers in the world, an American named Hillary Nelson, was descending from the summit of Manaslu, the world's 8th highest peak. She was 49 years old and had spent her entire career skiing big mountains. She triggered a small avalanche on her way down. It swept her off her feet and carried her about 5,000 feet down the south face of the mountain. Her body was found 2 days later. That is what skiing an 8,000-meter peak looks like when it goes wrong. Most attempts at full sky descents of 8,000-meter peaks have failed. Many of them have killed the people who tried. Bartek Ziemski has done it 9 times in 5 years. His project started in the summer of 2022 in Pakistan. He went after 2 8,000-meter peaks back-to-back, first Broad Peak, then Gasherbrum 2. Both summits, both ski descents, both without oxygen. For a guy who had only just started his project, it was a serious opening move. The next year he went to Nepal. In the spring of 2023, Ziemski summited and skied Annapurna, statistically one of the most dangerous mountains in the world. Then he moved on to Dhaulagiri, where he made the first complete ski descent of the mountain from the summit in history. A few days later, something happened that says more about Ziemski than any of his records. He and his climbing partner, Oswald Pereira, had already left the mountain. They were back in Kathmandu, resting, when a distress call came in. An 84-year-old Spanish climber, Carlos Soria, one of the most respected high-altitude climbers in the world, had broken his leg at 7,700 meters on the same Dhaulagiri they had just skied down. Ziemski and Pereira got back on a helicopter. The chopper took them as high as it could go, Camp 2, and dropped them off. They picked up oxygen, medicine, and a sliding stretcher and climbed up to Camp 3, where they found Soria and his team. They helped bring him down through the night, reached Camp 2 late in the dark, and stayed with him until the helicopter could lift him out the next morning. In 2024, Zemsky went back to Nepal and did Makalu and Kangchenjunga. The Kangchenjunga descent was another first complete ski descent of the mountain in history. In 2025, he did Manaslu, the same mountain where Hilary Nelson had died 3 years earlier. That was 7 8,000-meter peaks in 4 years. By the time the 2026 season started, Zemsky had 2 left on his list for that spring: Lhotse and Everest. Zemsky arrived in Nepal in early April 2026. While most of the Everest climbers were flying straight to base camp, he took a longer route. He went to Mera Peak first, a 6,400-meter trekking peak south of Everest, and used it to acclimatize on his own. By the time he reached base camp, his body was already adapted to high altitude, and he was ready to start moving. That's when the mountain stopped. The serac that blocked the Khumbu icefall in April held the entire 2026 season hostage for almost 3 weeks. Hundreds of climbers were stuck at base camp with nothing to do. Acclimatization rotations couldn't start. The summit window in May kept getting closer with every wasted day. For most climbers, that delay was just frustrating. For Zemsky, it was a problem with a deadline. His plan was to climb Lhotse before the rest of the season caught up to him, and the crowd started filling the route. He needed a clean line. The longer the icefall stayed closed, the harder that became. But Zemsky didn't wait. He linked up with a small group of Sherpas from different expeditions, and together they found their own way through the icefall to Camp 1. By the time the official route opened on April 28th, Zemsky was already where he needed to be. He took one rest day after his acclimatization rotation. Then he started his Lhotse push. Day 1. He climbed from base camp all the way up to Camp 3, a vertical gain of nearly 1,800 meters in a single day. Day 2. He moved from Camp 3 up to Camp 4 on the Lhotse face and rested briefly. Day 3. He left Camp 4 in the dark and headed for the summit. No oxygen, no Sherpa. And on the upper section of the mountain, no fixed ropes either, because the rope fixing teams hadn't finished yet. Zemsky broke trail himself. He summited Lhotse on May 12, 2026. He was the first person to reach the top of the mountain that season. What Zemsky did next had never been done before. He skied down from the summit, through the steep exposed Lhotse couloir, a narrow chute of ice and snow that drops 1,600 meters at angles between 40 and 50 degrees, down the Lhotse face, across the upper western Khum, through the Khumbu icefall. It was the first complete ski descent of Lhotse in history. From the summit to base camp, no breaks, no skip sections. Most climbers would have rested for weeks after that. A no-oxygen summit on the 4th highest mountain in the world is enough of a physical hit to wreck you for an entire season. Zemsky rested for 1 week. On May 19, 2026, just before midnight at Camp 4, he started his Everest summit push. By that point, the summit window had opened. Hundreds of climbers were moving on the route at the same time. The clean line Zemsky had wanted on Lhotse was long gone on Everest. He summited at 9:30 in the morning. He was at the highest point on Earth, with no teammate beside him. He asked a nearby climber to take his summit photo. The descent took 5.5 hours. Zemsky skied 3,485 vertical meters from the summit of Everest, back down to base camp, with no stops along the way. He had to navigate around other climbers, still moving up the fixed ropes. He had to find lines through tracks that weren't designed to be skied. He had to ski the same icefall and the same unstable serac he had already skied a week earlier on Lhotse. He reached base camp at 2:50 in the afternoon. It was only the second time in history that a person had skied from the summit of Everest to base camp without supplemental oxygen. And it was the first time it had ever been done fully self-supported, by one climber with no team. No one in history had ever skied both Lhotse and Everest in the same season. Zemsky wasn't the first person to ski Everest without oxygen. That record went to another Polish climber, Andrzej Bargiel. in September 2025. The two climbs were almost nothing alike. Bargiel did his descent in the autumn season, when the mountain was empty of commercial climbers and buried under fresh snow. His expedition was sponsored by Red Bull. He had Sherpas fixing the route ahead of him, setting his camps, breaking trail, and carrying gear. Every part of the operation was professional, supported, and documented. When he reached the summit on September 22, 2025, he became the first person in history to climb and ski Everest without bottled oxygen. It was a historic climb, and it was also a massive media event. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk posted about it. Red Bull released a polished film. Bargiel went on a press tour. Zemski's descent 8 months later was the same achievement, done in a completely different way. By the end of the 2026 spring season, Bartek Ziemski had skied down 9 of the world's 14 8,000-meter peaks. He has 5 mountains left. 2 of them are in Tibet, Cho Oyu and Shishapangma. Both of those are closed to foreign climbers in 2026, the same closure that shut down the north side of Everest. Until China reopens them, that part of the project is stuck. The other 3 are in Pakistan, in the Karakoram range. Gasherbrum 1, Nanga Parbat, and K2. Andrei Bargiel is the only person who has ever skied down K2, and he did it once, in 2018, with a full team and post-monsoon conditions. If Zemski finishes all 5 remaining mountains, he'll become the first person to ski every 8,000-meter peak on Earth. The 2026 Everest season is going to be remembered for a long list of records. The most permits ever issued, the most summits in a single day, the most revenue ever collected by Nepal in one spring, the strictest rule set in the mountain's history, hundreds of headlines, dozens of magazine pieces, thousands of Instagram posts. But the biggest physical feat of the 2026 Everest season belonged to the climber who least seemed to care about being noticed for it. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more Everest stories.